You're Chinese Jamaican and you're a Chung. Come here, we have a history lesson for y'all. A lot of you have been asking me to find your names in this Chinese Jamaican book. And yesterday, someone asked me about Zhang. I'm looking in this book and I couldn't find Zhang, but I'm here with my Uncle Charlie. Zhang is really Chung.
In Jamaica, it's C-H-U-N-G, C-H-O-N-G, and C-H-E-U-N-G.
Chinese Jamaicans, these are all Chungs. Chung, 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 Chung. But these are all the same last name, as well as Sang, T, and Zhang.
Yes.
It's all the same character.
The same character. There's all the Chinese characters. If you go to Chong, this one, see?
Zhang, yeah.
Zhang. See what beside it? It says
Chong.
Jamaican Hakka. It says Chong or Jong.
But in Mandarin, it's Zhang. So how come some Chinese Jamaicans still use Zhang and not Chong?
Because they came later. They're speaking Mandarin.
Juklin too.
I went there April 4th, 2017.
Is this specifically like a Chong village?
Yes. This is a big village. This Chong village is a big village.
Right, there's a lot of Chinese Jamaican Chongs.
When I went there, I showed them the headstone. He looked in his book, which is the Chukwu he gave me. It explained where the Chong name came from. And this is like 5,000 years ago.
The Chukwu is a book of your family tree. And every Chinese Jamaican surname should have a Chukwu.
Every village have a Chukwu. This is the original Chong.
Okay.
That's the original Chong. How the name came, this man was the inventor of the longbow.
Okay.
You know, it's bow and arrow, right? They used to use a little bow and arrow this small, but he made a gigantic bow that the arrow could go further.
Yeah.
And the emperor saw that and they bestowed the name of Chong to him. So if you go back to the Chinese character, this first part is a bow.
Interesting.
Very cool.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, no, I did learn that in the Chinese museum when I was in China, that all the characters they're like pictures. Like you can see like elephants that actually kind of looks like an elephant. Yeah, I have that in the vlog.
No, even a door.
Right.
Chinese character door is a door.
First off, I want to give our praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakodash, the Wadi Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, for giving us this truthful worms. The Wadi Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, for allowing me to do another video through His Spirit. The Wadi a double honor to our apostles, the elders at Great Millstone, and salutation and blessings to the hopeful elect. And also double honors to the bishops throughout the four corners of the earth, and out of Connecticut. Double honors to them also, and salutations to all the brothers out here laboring. I just want to do this quick lesson. I just came across this clip on Instagram Reels, and I'm gonna start this lesson with this right here. And it just shows that our people have been scattered, throughout the four corners of the earth. This is James 1 in verse 5. It says, James 1 and 1. James, a servant of Yahweh and of the Lord Yahweh Shai, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greetings. Let's get that in the Amplified, actually. This is James 1 and 1 in the Amplified. James, a bondservant of Yahweh and of the Lord Yahweh Shai, Mashiach, says to the 12 Hebrew tribes scattered abroad among the Gentiles in the dispersion, greetings. So, our people are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. And our people have mixed in, intermingled with other cultures and other people during all this time. And I want to get this, today's lesson going to be on the Chinese Jamaicans. And this girl goes into, a little bit of history of Jake intermingling amongst Moab and Ammon. And, you have a lot of our people who look like Moab and Ammon, and you have a lot of people who actually live there and have children with Jake is going to have children with Ammonite women or Moabite women. You best believe, 100%. Our people, and it makes sense that you have so that Israelites can look like anybody. You have a baby with 2, 3. You have a baby with a even of a different tribe. You have a baby with an Israelite, and your child gets with an Israelite. That baby's down the line is going to look. Your great grandchildren look straight like so-called Mexicans, but you could be a Judite or you could whatever tribe you descend from. Your children are gonna look like, they ain't gonna look like no Judite no more. I promise you that. He gonna look like Issacharite. If your son, being a Judite, gets with an Issacharite, and then he gets with a Issacharite woman, and then he gets with another Issacharite, your child's gonna look like a so-called Mexican. It's just that simple. Same thing with a white woman. Same thing with an Indian. Same thing with an Arab. It don't take long for your child to look like somebody else. It even shows you in that book, nature has no color line. Because it doesn't. Nature has no color line. Because after you get with so many different women, your child is going to look like a different race, different nation. So let's get this clip.
Chinese Jamaican. You're Chinese Jamaican. If you're Chinese Jamaican and you're a Chung, come here. We have a history lesson for y'all. A lot of you have been asking me to find your names in this Chinese Jamaican book. And yesterday, someone asked me about Zhang. I'm looking in this book and I couldn't find Zhang. But I'm here with my Uncle Charlie. Zhang is really Chung.
In Jamaica, it's Chung, Chong, and Cheung.
Chinese Jamaicans, these are all Chongs. Chong. But these are all the same last name, as well as Sang, Ti, and Zhang.
Yes.
It's all the same character.
The same character. There's all the Chinese characters. If you go to Chong, this one, see?
Zhang, yeah.
Zhang. See what beside it? It says
Chong.
Jamaican Hakka. It says Chong or Jong.
But in Mandarin, it's Zhang. So how come some Chinese Jamaicans still use Zhang and not Chong?
Because they came later. They're speaking Mandarin.
Juklin too.
I went there April 4th, 2017.
Is this specifically like a Chong village?
Yes. This is a big village. This Chong village is a big village.
Right. There's a lot of Chinese Jamaican Chongs.
When I went there, I showed them the headstone. He looked in his book, which is the Chukwu he gave me. It explained where the Chong name came from. And this is like 5,000 years ago.
The Chukwu is a book of your family tree. And every Chinese Jamaican surname should have a Chukwu.
Every village have a Chukwu. This is the original Chong.
Okay.
That's the original Chong. How the name came, this man was the inventor of the longbow.
Okay.
You know, it's bow and arrow, right? They used to use a little bow and arrow this small, but he made a gigantic bow that the arrow could go further.
Yeah.
And the emperor saw that, and they bestowed the name of Chong to him. So if you go back to the Chinese character, this first part is a bow.
Interesting.
Very cool.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, no, I did learn that in the Chinese museum when I was in China.
Yeah, so he just went into it. You know, the Chinese Jamaican or Jamaican Chinese, you know, there's a big culture centered around Jake and, you know, and the Chinese. And it goes for the Chinese and it goes just for the Japanese. You know, brothers always bring out, which is true, you know, having about the samurais. The samurais being, you know, Jake. And this, you know, the little, you know, it's hard to find nowadays. But, you know, being a samurai, you must have a percentage of black blood. These things are coming out as we, you know, the scriptures speak about how the truth will be revealed. You know, every lie. Let's actually get that. There's nothing hid that should not. And I want to get this woman too, but let's get this. Let's get it. This is Luke 12 and verse 2. It says, "For there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known." So the truth is coming out. rather it's about the Chinese Jamaicans, or rather it's about the diaspora, rather it's about who the Lord came for, who the Lord came for. The truth is coming out. The truth of Yahweh Shem Shai is coming out in the earth in these last days, and you can't stop it. There's no the Lord is destroying the covering cast in this lie that Esau has created throughout the four corners of the earth. This is verse 3. It says, "Therefore, whosoever ye shall, therefore whosoever ye have spoken in darkness shall be heard in the light." I'm sorry. "Therefore, whatsoever ye have spoken in darkness shall be heard in the light, and that which ye have spoken in the ear in the closet shall be proclaimed upon the roof, on the housetops." And the truth is being proclaimed throughout the four corners of the earth. The word is coming out. Even little things like this. This is how you know our people were scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. And her herself is a Chinese Jamaican, which she on her profile. I don't know if her father's Jake or a mother, but I'm assuming it's her father. It's just an assumption. I was like, these two niggas, these two niggas. But they're at the end of the day, who are they? They're Israelites. They're Israelites. Now you could have some that are Moab, but you could have some that are Moab, of course. A Moabite man getting with a Jamaican, a Benjaminite woman. But you have it vice versa. A Benjaminite, a Jamaican, so-called Jamaican, a West Indies, getting with a Moabite. And, you create a baby that looks like that. This is why, our people, what does the scripture say? Our people are as a speckled bird. So I looked up on ChatGPT, what is a Chinese Jamaican? It says Chinese Jamaican is a Jamaican person of Chinese ancestor, someone whose family's roots track back to China, who is culturally Japanese, or both. It says how it happened. Chinese people migrated to Jamaica in the mid 1800s, mostly from South China, Hakka, and Cantonese region. It says these originally came to indentured laborers, which is indentured servants. It says after slavery was abolished, and later as merchants and shopkeepers. And Jake was dealing with their women 100%. This is why you have a lot of Jake Jamaicans. There's a big culture over there in Japan, and in China of these rappers, these break dancers. Look at the Jabberwockies. You have a big community of Israelites in these lands, and they look like these people, but they're Israelites. It says many Jamaicans are many Chinese Jamaicans are mixed Chinese Africans, which is just Israelites. It says European or Caribbean ancestry. It says, which there's no such thing as mixed. You are what your father is. So if your father is a Jamaican, you are a Benjaminite, or so-called African, so-called Negro, which is Judah. You are a Judite, even if your mother's a so-called European white woman, or Chinese Moabite, or an Ammonite. You are what your father is, even if you look like a so-called Chinese or Japanese. If you descend back to our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, you are Israelite. It says they are fully part of Jamaican's culture. What is this? Accent, food, music, customs, while often keeping Chinese traditions too. It says they blend. This blend gave Jamaican things like Chinese Jamaican. What's this?
Cuisine. Cuisine.
Cuisine. Okay, it says think jerk chicken meat meats a chow meal. It says famous Chinese Jamaicans, Brian Lee, Michael Lee Ching, and Tashan Ching. And actually, I'm gonna get this one right here. She's a singer. Let's get her real quick. Just play this fair use. Hopefully it doesn't get fucking copyrighted, but I'm just playing for like 10 seconds.
Open the door and let the lovers sing. Well, it's a once in a lifetime thing.
No, that's it. That's a black woman, bro. You can't convince me otherwise. That's a black woman. You hear that voice? Do you hear that voice on her? You can go check her out. But come on now. This is Jake. And then let's actually do this. Let's do this real quick. I'm not going to play theirs. Theirs is going to get copyrighted for sure. Japanese rappers. Hey, y'all know these niggas. Brother, I know brothers that know these niggas. Look at these niggas, man. Goddamn, look at this smile. That's a nigga. Look at that smile. That's a goddamn nigga smile if I ain't never seen one. These are all Jake, man. I done heard their music. They're nothing but niggas who look like Japanese, man. Who look like Moabites, Japanese. Bunch of niggas, man. Straight up. So you have our people scattered across the four corners of the earth. They look like everybody. They look like all the nations. But let's get this. This is Revelation 7 and actually I'll just get 8. This is Revelation 7 and verse 9. It says, and after this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds and people and tongues, stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands. Yeah, so you're going to have Jake that look like every nation throughout the four corners of the earth. Let's keep going. Actually, it says, so this isn't all the heathens making it. These are Jakes who were scattered across the four corners of the earth. Our people are scattered across the four corners of the earth. Like it says, I believe in Jeremiah, it says, I think it's Jeremiah or Daniel, where it says these nations, these are the nations which have scattered the children of Israel. I can't remember, but I know there's one in Jeremiah that says this Babylon has scattered the sheep of Israel, because you can link that with that the Lord said, I'm only come for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Why? Because our people are scattered throughout all these nations. That's why the ministry ultimately went unto who? The Gentiles, not the heathens, the Gentiles being the Israelites that were scattered in the dispersion. The ministry went unto them. First, Yahushua came to the ones that were in Jerusalem, and not everyone did not believe on him. He went to the ones that were first in Jerusalem, and then what? The ministry later went unto the Israelites that were scattered abroad, which leads unto us to this day, because we are those Israelites that are scattered. We didn't grow up in our customs. We grew up as fucking heathens, straight up and down. We grew up as fucking Gentiles. Some of our children now are growing up as Israelites, but majority of us grew up as Gentiles, not knowing who we were, not knowing our customs, not knowing our laws, but even in the spirit, keeping some of them, not perfectly, but some brothers didn't do certain things that came to the truth, and I didn't do that in the world anyways, because what? They had a law unto themselves. Meaning what? It was in their spirit. And it says, and this is verse 10, and and cried with a loud voice, saying, Salvation to our power, which sitteth upon the throne, and unto the Lamb. And all the angels stood round about the throne, and about the elders, and the four beasts, and fell before the throne on their faces, and worship Yahweh, saying, So be true, blessings and glory and wisdom and thanksgivings and honor and power and might be unto our power forever and ever. So be true. It says, and one of the elders answered, saying unto me, What are these which are arrayed in white robes, and which came and whence came they? Where they come from? And he said unto him, Sir, thou knowest, you got it. He said to me, These are they which came out of great tribulation. What is that great tribulation? What's about to go down here? What is going down here? And have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. Says, therefore are they before the throne of Yahweh, and serve him day and night in the temple, and he that sitteth on the throne shall dwell amongst them. Which is this dealing with the salvation that is going to come unto Israel and to the Israelites that are scattered across the globe, man. But chiefly the Israelites who are where? In America. That get delivered out of that salvation.